Welcome to The Vibrant Couple. I've invited my friend Monique to talk and teach about relationship tools. Monique, please tell us briefly who you are, what you do.
Thank you so much. Yes, I love working with individuals, families, and couples. I also work with corporations, and I champion courageous conversations.
Courageous conversations. I like it. I work strictly with people's intimate lives, so couples and singles. Today, we're going to talk about a favorite tool of mine, Take 1, 2, 3. Before we get started, I think it would be good to set some principles for our work. And the principles are there to counteract tendencies we have. One of them is to believe that the grass is greener elsewhere. So, principle one is this is not true. The grass is greener where you water it.
Yes, and principle number two is a secure attachment style is something that you can practice. So you can process it, learn the knowledge and information, but the practice is where you really implement and understand and shift to a secure relationship.
Wonderful. And because very few people like to go to school, and especially not to relationship school, our third principle is that playfulness is the key to a happier relationship.
Absolutely. Today, we're going to do a wonderful game called Take 1, 2, 3. Just like when we do movie recordings, they say take one, take two, take three. We're inviting a game so that you can start and do over. I try something, didn't like it, take two. We're just giving ourselves a chance to try again without a partner being asked to respond. So that's what the game is. The expected benefits of it are that you would then get to practice real time, and your partner gets to watch your investment in trying, and you get to figure out, oh, wait, this is how I want to say it. This is what I'm really trying to convey. So it's just a beautiful way to be able to practice and watch that playfulness come forward. We will do an example with some role play, and we want to make sure that you remember to celebrate. Celebrate that you're here today and invested in the health of your relationships. Celebrate the Take 1, 2, 3 game that you play with somebody else, and then we'll also do some questions and answers.
Okay, so how do we play Take 1, 2, 3? So, step one, you screw up. So, we are all at some times insensitive, or we cross a boundary, or we blame, or we judge others, and we do something that basically does not help the relationship with whoever we are talking with. Step two, you are notified you screwed up. This is typically done by our partner and also typically in a way that we don't really enjoy. We wish they would be, gentler. But just the fact that we are notified that we screwed up is very valuable information. One of the ways to look at it is kind of like going to the dentist. I don't like going to the dentist, but I appreciate it. So I typically do not like the way I'm getting notified by my partner, but I do appreciate it because it gives me some awareness of something that I can correct. That notification can also be self-notification. Your partner does not say anything, but you're the one realizing that you said something unkind or something that you would love to say differently. The key here is to not succumb to shame and just take that as valuable feedback about what is going on in the conversation with your partner. Step three, you resist the urge to apologize. So, apologies can be really good and are really important in relationships when you crossed a boundary or you really hurt someone. Here, what the game does is it shows that you're taking a stand to improving the relationship. And that demonstration of taking responsibility is likely stronger than a weak apology. Step 4, you offer a take two. Here, critically, you offer. Of course, you want to make sure that you have consent from your spouse or partner. There is no question about that. However, this is not asking for permission because asking for permission weakens the masculine in us that basically gives the direction to where we want the relationship to go. So, if you believe that doing a take two is the right thing to do, to better redirect a conversation that didn't go well, then you offer a take two. Step 5 is the actual take two. So here you want to go back in time to where the beginning of take one started. It is kind of like on a movie set where you have, the slate saying, hey, take one, take two, take three, to improve the places where you felt you were insensitive, you felt you were blaming, you felt you were judging, whatever it is that you believe somehow impacted the communication with your partner negative. Step 6 is as you do take two, you basically pay attention to how it is impacting your partner. So sometimes your partner is going to get even more tense, close, reactive, whatever is going on. That is valuable feedback because you can go back to a take three or a take four and more if necessary. And sometimes you will get the reaction that you're expecting by being more sensitive, caring, by taking more responsibility, by being less blaming, all those things that, kill relationships. And you see your partner relax and reopen. Step 7, basically repeat as necessary. You keep going from take to take with the very same framework where you basically notify that you screwed up, you offer the next take. You do the next take, and as you do the take, you basically pay attention to what is going on with your partner. So, here a few words of advice on how to successfully implement this tool. The first one is that relationship tools can backfire. So I encourage you to practice them in low stress situations first, easy concerns, and then you can apply them on more and more treacherous situations as you gain confidence and skills. And of course, attending a workshop or relationship coaching is a really, really good way of practicing them in, high treacherous situations that you've encountered again and again and again over the years. And the second advice is that I find it really helpful, of course, only if you can be vulnerable with your partner, to narrate in addition the level of openness or reactivity that you feel in them. So, for example, if after take one, you do a take two in which you notice that they are tensing up and becoming more reactive, it may be good to say, hey, darling, I have the impression that this pissed you off even more. How about we do a take three? In the opposite case, if you notice them relaxing and reopening and becoming less reactive, you can say something like, hey, love, I have the impression that this take two is going in the right direction. Is that your impression as well? So, how about Monique and I demonstrate through a couple of role plays?
Although you're working so much, I feel like you're avoiding me.
Um, yes, darling. I don't know how to respond. I'm the main breadwinner in our couple. And, I need to work to maintain our lifestyle.
Uh, Take two.
Okay, go for it.
So, okay, take two. What's more true for me is I miss you and I'd like more time with you.
So I like to hear that. Thank you. And how about you and I go on a date at the end of the week? I should be done with my project either on Friday evening or, likely very, very late. And so how about we go on a date Saturday night?
That sounds wonderful. Thank you.
Cool. So, Monique, that was an example where 2 takes was enough. And
Yeah.
so, how about we do another example? And maybe I'm the one screwing up this time. And
Okay.
maybe we do one in which you resist a little bit more and we have to do 3 takes, or
Okay.
I'm clumsy and we have to do 3 takes.
Okay. Sounds great.
Monique, you made me look like a fool again in front of the kids when you share that I always work way too late and you're really pissed with me about it.
Well, the way that you are, what am I supposed to do? I mean, what am I supposed to do?
Mhm. Okay, so Monique, I'm not happy with the way it came out. And let me try again because I noticed I was blaming you.
Okay.
So, take two. You okay with take two?
Yeah. Yeah. Let's try that again.
Cool. So, Monique, I was really upset when you made me look like a fool with the kids when you said that you're really upset with me working too much.
I just don't think I can make you look like a fool, Valdo. Like if you're
Okay.
working too much, you're working too much.
Monique, I'm not happy with take two. I would love to do a take three.
Okay. Go for it.
I was really upset when I heard from the children that you're somehow upset with me working all the time these days. And I'm owning my upset. I also want to make sure that you and I are on the same page, that I'm working hard for our lifestyle to pay for the kids' college and our vacation that we have planned to Maui at the end of the year. Are we on the same page?
Yeah, I think sometimes I just miss you and then I express my frustration without really thinking about it and I appreciate you bringing this to my attention. I'll work on it.
Thank you. Monique, we just had 2 back-to-back examples in our relationship, in which basically you did a take 1, 2, 3, and then I did my take 1, 2, 3. I would love to stop and appreciate each other and celebrate. So I'm going to start. I so appreciate how you understand how it is important for me to provide for our family. That really speaks deeply to me. Thank you.
I appreciate how you let me know what's going on for you and that we as a couple in these videos is modeling how just showing up and trying again is just a really, really great way. I believe that we're invested in our relationship. So thank you.
Cool. And I also appreciate when you know that sometimes it has happened a few times in our marriage that we end up with me having too much work and not taking time for vacation. However, I know you still believe that I'm doing my best to make those happen. And so I appreciate that. Thank you. This tool is definitely helping our relationship quite a bit.
I think so. So, Valdo, people ask, like, how many takes can I take in the game Take One, Two, Three?
However many takes, my record, and I've done that several times, is 7. So, question, how do you know you've done enough takes?
When you feel a sense of reconnection.
So, we definitely felt that in our role play twice.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, in step 3, you mentioned resist the urge to apologize. I noticed that I just and I kind of apologized almost reflectively. So, aren't apologies good? Like just showing that I care?
So apologies are excellent when you crossed a boundary, when you didn't do something that you said you would do, or the reverse, when you did something you said you wouldn't do.
Hmm.
However, and I'm picking up on your, reflexively apologizing, we apologize too much. We somehow have been trained. And as a result, our apologies are fairly hollow. That does not mean they're not sincere, but they're somehow hollow. So the belief here is that offering a take two and then a take three is a stronger stand for the relationship, is stronger taking responsibility for whatever screw up or unkind words we said, more than just apologizing.
I don't understand your statement about not asking for permission.
Hmm. I'm really glad you asked. Permission is not sexy in a couple. So you want to verify consent always, but let's say that I'm asking you something, this is not sexy. So for example, if I say, hey Monique, I don't like how I did it, would you be okay if I did a take two? I don't feel strong to you. So if I say, Monique, I screwed up, how about we do a take two? There is a masculine edge, whichever the partner is, because, masculine is the direction, whether it's the man or the woman, or whichever partner in a same sex couple.
Makes sense to me. And I noticed my energy rise when you sort of stood up and stood in your own strength. I'm wondering what's the difference between consent and permission?
The two are very intertwined and almost as different as sex and intimacy.
Mm.
So anything we do, I want to have your consent. I'm going to verify consent. Verifying does not mean that I ask for permission. So, for example, I want to enter sexual play with you. If I see you smile, there
Hmm.
is a sign of consent. And of course, this is in our relationship in which we have good intimacy, good relationship, good sex. Someone smiling when you don't know them or you don't know them well does not necessarily mean that. But in our relationship, a smile is a sign of consent. And you know that I'm paying attention to consent. If for whatever reason you change your mind or I misinterpreted you, you know that you can just speak up and I will stop immediately.
That makes sense. Thanks for clarifying.
So asking for permission is something that I believe somehow weakens us because we often take the underdog, would you be okay with this?
Like a power
However,
over kind of thing. Yeah.
something like that. And mainly is because we don't have the guts or the strength to ask for what we want. However, especially at the beginning of a relationship, giving each other permission, giving the other permission is wonderful.
Mm. Okay. Thank you. That makes sense.
So, an example of that is, darling, I know you work a lot these days. Um, I want to make sure that I fully support you this week to just work on your project. Don't worry about anything else in the house. I'll take care of it.
Mhm.
So that's a way of giving me permission.
Mhm.
And that is wonderful because now I know I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah. So it's a very loving, clear taking charge. Yeah.
Exactly. Question: what if it is not working?
Well, it's really important that you acknowledge the effort. So just celebrate that you're both showing up and trying. What do I do if my partner is not like owning their part or taking responsibility for the problem?
So I wish both partners always took responsibility. And the answer here is that often it only takes one. So if one does the work, often it is enough for both to reconnect and feel again on the same page versus, being at odds before.
I'm curious, like, what if my intention to do take two is met with like reactivity or, like animosity?
Monique, that is a good question. Sometimes, of course, assuming with a partner that you have high enough success rate of resolution, sometimes we are either too upset or we are too attached to our strategy.
Mhm.
And so when that is the case, I believe that it is good to acknowledge that and basically somehow creating space for when both are ready to have the conversation. Question. Can we do this playfully like you did earlier, like we're on a movie set?
Absolutely. Actually, the more playful, the better.
I agree.
So I have a question. I did all the reconnection work. Shall I ask for the credit? I mean, I put the work in.
Definitely not. Reconnection is the we in a couple. So somehow, if you take the credit, your I for our we, that basically kills the mood.
Yeah. Is it also true that sometimes that doesn't work?
Definitely, there are a couple important parts. One is the capacity of our partner. So if our partner has addictions, he's grieving something important, or is in a mental state that does not enable them to be fully present, then it is possible that it may not work. They may just be too reactive or just not available.
Okay, so what I'm understanding is I just need to keep showing up and doing my part. And if I realize it might be a capacity issue, that's a different problem. But meanwhile, just keep showing up and working toward that connection.
Exactly. And so
Okay.
the assumption I'm making is most couples have enough of a success rate to know that they can be happy together, they can solve problems
Mhm.
together. Whatever the problems are, and it is really important to also acknowledge that when the success rate is too low, or
Mhm.
I would say negative, because in some cases, there are people that always make you feel wrong. And some relationships in which you do not want to be vulnerable, sometimes it is good to acknowledge that the relationship is toxic. If this video inspired you to improve your relationship with your partner, please hit the like button below and subscribe so you can be notified when I publish new juicy content. Please share with all you believe would benefit. I look forward to seeing you very soon.